Hey everybody, welcome back. It's fall. Not sure if you noticed, but fall is like a pretty popular time for backpacking, at least in the South and Southwest where I live, mostly because nobody wants to hike and camp in 110 degrees. So, like all of summer is out. So if that's you and you're in the market for a new pack, dang, have we got a pack for you. This, my friends, is the Deuter Aircontact Core 45 plus 10 liter SL backpacking pack, and it's pretty rad. I mean, no spoilers, but I'm pretty impressed. So I'm gonna tell you about it, including what I thought of it after some recent testing. But right out of the gate, let's get the sustainability info out there. The main fabric is made from 100% recycled polyamide, which is also Blue Sign certified. Huzzah. And because it's made of recycled materials, it uses about 27% less natural resources and results in about 28% less greenhouse gas emissions. So double huzzah. But listen, sustainable materials don't mean there's any sort of sacrifice in quality. In fact, the fabric this bag is made of, because it's a polyamide instead of a nylon or polyester, feels extremely durable. It's a very tight weave and may honestly be some of the most robust pack fabric we've tested lately. Which means I'm not at all worried about this bag's well-being if I don't know, slide down a boulder field or scrape against some trees or get caught in a hailstorm. The pack is also entirely PFC free, by the way, as is Deuter's entire line. Now to the finer details. This is the SL version of the Aircontact Core, aka the women's version, which mostly has to do with the shape of the straps. They're more S-shaped, have rounded edges, and the straps are more tapered toward the bottom, which, coupled with the pivoting active fit shoulder straps, all makes for a snugger and more comfortable fit for narrower shoulders. The women's packs also have a slightly shorter back panel than the men's, in case you were wondering. And yes, there is a men's version of the pack too. It's identical except for the fit details and minor structure variances. Oh, and speaking of women's specific packs, if you're at all familiar with Deuter, you probably recognize the packs on site by the little yellow faux flower hair ties that they use to attach to the outside of the pack that signify it as a women's pack. Now, I say used to because that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I'm not entirely positive when or why they decided to get rid of the fake flower, but I wouldn't be surprised if it had everything to do with the sustainability of putting a synthetic flower that was just going to get tossed in the trash on their products. When the bag arrived, I was actually quite pleased to find in the flower's place an adjustable looped band. I immediately took it off and put it directly on my wrist because, as you can see, I don't have enough bracelets already, but it could also function as an extra tie-down point or a multi-purpose attachment tool. Basically, I like that way better than some silly flower, so way to go, Deuter. The pack itself weighs 71.6 ounces, nearly 4.5 pounds, so it's not a terribly lightweight pack, but it is rated to carry up to 55 pounds. Now, that is way more than I will probably ever carry. Even before I was an ultralight backpacker, a 50-pound pack is literally half my body weight. For me, 50 pounds will never be a comfortable carry, nor should I attempt to make my body carry half my weight on my hips and shoulders. But, if you're a 200-pound human who is going winter camping for a week, 55 pounds is absolutely not out of the question. In fact, my dad, who is not 200 pounds, recently carried about that much on a week-long trip to Isle Royale National Park. Now, I'm not saying he was comfortable or happy about it, I'm just saying he did it. Okay? In any case, a larger person with a lot of gear to carry will be very glad to have a pack that can comfortably handle a load that heavy. If you don't plan on carrying that much weight, I'm not saying this pack is overkill. It will still carry moderate loads very comfortably. I just wanted to point out what it's capable of and who might find that useful. As for features, this bag has tons, and they're all pretty thoughtful. Let's start from the outside in. There are 2 webbing attachment loops on the bottom of the bag that are both removable, which is actually really practical because if you don't use these types of loops for trekking poles or whatever, they're really just in the way. So it's nice to be able to take them off entirely or repurpose them elsewhere on the pack, but More on that in a sec. There is also a bottom access pocket down here with a double zipper that allows you to get into the bottom of the pack without having to dig through everything at the top. Always nice. Inside this entry point, as you can see, the compartment is separated by a zippered flap as opposed to snaps or buckles or some such fastening device that some other bags feature. Honestly, I like a zipper better because it not only is easier to do and undo, but actually keeps things fully separated instead of allowing smaller items and gear to slip through the cracks. Staying down here around the bottom of the pack, the hip belt has one super spacious stretchy pocket on each side. They offer plenty of room for snacks, maps, phones, you name it. And the hip belt buckle itself is also well designed. I mean, I always appreciate a hip belt that has cinch straps that pull inward instead of outward. It makes it easier to tighten and loosen the belt on the fly. As for the back panel, the harness features Deuter's Vari-Slide adjustment system, which may be the most easily adjustable harness I have ever seen on a backpack. All you have to do is lift a lever and pull up or down to adjust the height of the shoulder strap, which is important on this pack because the bag only comes in one size, so it does have to fit a variety of body types. There are also, of course, the requisite load lifters on the shoulder straps that really help you dial in the right fit and make carrying more comfortable. And the back panel is Deuter's Aircontact design. It features this sort of three-dimensional air spacer mesh, plus a wide ventilation channel right down the spine to help encourage airflow and keep you from getting too terribly sweaty. Naturally, there's no escaping getting sweaty when you're carrying a backpack, but this design may make it a little bit more comfortable. That said, this lower back pad did feel a bit stiff and sweaty during testing. I mean, the whole back panel is fairly stiff and not super squishy, but what it lacks in immediate comfort as soon as you put it on, it more than makes up for in stability and the ability to handle heavy loads via evenly distributed weight. The straps have a sternum strap, of course, plus two routing loops and even extra loops for accessories and a sunglass sleeve, which is super handy. Because I don't know about you, but I frequently just try to hang my sunglasses from my sternum strap, and as soon as I bend over, they just fall into the dirt or on top of rocks. More likely. I mean, like, don't they always? But before I move on from the back panel, I do want to mention the grab handle by the lid. It's incredibly sturdy and feels very secure. I mean, I was not afraid to pick up the whole bag fully loaded using just the handle to toss it in and out of the car. It absolutely makes the bag feel like a high quality piece of equipment. Now, while we're up here on top, let's move on to the lid. It's entirely removable, which is awesome as it not only provides extended capacity via two extra pockets, but also versatility, by which I mean you can remove it entirely to reduce the weight of your pack or offer quicker access to the inside storage compartment. Unfortunately, it's not one of those lids you can remove and then turn into a sling or a day pack, but it's still nice to have the option to take it off. Like I said, you can leave it at home or you can shove all of your evening tools and goodies up top in those pockets once you get to camp, you know, like headlamps, snacks, your spork, matches, etc. Stash the top nearby wherever you're hanging out for the evening and have all of your quick grab necessities at hand at any point. If you do choose to remove it and leave it at home, in addition to the dual cinch cords at the pack opening, there's also an adjustable buckle strap to keep everything secure and compressed. But let's move on to the front of the pack. Again, there are just so many great features here. For starters, there are attachment loops all along the front sides of the bag, including towards the bottom and on the lid. Now, this makes it easy for you to use your own cord or webbing to customize carry using the loops, so you can, you know, attach stuff to the outside of your bag, say if you need to hang damp clothes to dry while you hike. But all the compression straps on the Deuter Aircontact core are modular. Yeah. All the straps can be removed and relocated with this system. Say if you don't need any side compression, but you want to attach a Z-Rest sleep pad to the bottom of your pack. Just swap the buckle straps to different loops and voila, customized carry. Of course, that means each of the straps can also be removed entirely if you want them off and out of the way for any reason. There are trekking pole attachment bungees, which are not only a handy tool, but a necessity, in my opinion. A supersized stretchy pocket on the front of the pack, which love, and an oversized stretchy water bottle pocket on each side. Now, I will say about the water bottle pockets that I am not a huge fan of the design. They are nice and big, but are almost too deep, which I guess is great for keeping tall water bottles securely in place, but not great for pulling water bottles in and out to stay hydrated on the go. During testing, I quickly realized only the pocket on my right offered the option to slide a water bottle in sideways, and really only a narrow Nalgene fit easily. The large, wide mouth versions were much tougher to slide in with one hand. And while I could usually contort my arms enough to pull a water bottle out of the top pocket, I definitely couldn't get one back in. Not when I was wearing the pack anyway. Basically, if I had one main gripe with this pack, that would be it. So keep that in mind if you're not a hydration reservoir kind of person and you prefer to carry just water bottles. Inside the pack, the only other feature is a reservoir sleeve with a Velcro hanging loop and an exit for a reservoir hose. I will say that the exit point is fairly tight, so if you have a bladder with a large bite valve, you may have to take the hose off entirely and thread it in backwards. Not a big deal, just something to note. But you want to know how comfortable this pack is. Let's dish. For starters, I appreciated the flexible hip belt and shoulder straps, which both made fitting the pack and putting it on and taking it off and then dialing in the right fit very easy. It also felt like the pack could really move with me, but also provided just a little independent freedom of motion, what with the pivoting hip and shoulder strap attachment point. The pack definitely felt like it distributed the weight efficiently to my hips as opposed to shoulders. In fact, it felt like most of the weight of the pack was sitting right in my lumbar and lower back and hips, which is more comfortable when you're carrying a heavy pack for hours. That said, the back panel did feel a little stiff. That could mostly be because I'm used to ultralight packs with no frame at all. And even when I do carry a pack with a frame, for years my pack of choice has been an Osprey, where the whole back panel is just a tightly stretched mesh, so there are no hot spots or pressure points anywhere along your back. Now, that has its own sets of pros and cons, of course, but the point being I may have found the Aircontact core slightly less comfortable than I would have liked right out the gate because I'm used to a different style of pack. But once again, the frame did do very well at distributing the weight appropriately. It allowed for plenty of freedom of movement and would likely break in and soften up with use. Bottom line, this is an extremely high quality, well-made, more sustainable, durable, heavy load lifting pack that is not only extremely capable, but feels like it's going to last a good long time. Especially when you pair it with Deuter's warranty and promise to repair any of their packs free of charge, no matter how old it is or the reason it needs to be repaired. Basically, this pack is gonna be with you for a long time. And we love any brand that stands behind their products like that. So we'll drop a link to the Deuter Aircontact core in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. But before you go, it would be so totally rad if you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I mean, we'd hate for you to miss any of our upcoming gear reviews or adventures. Then make sure to join in the fun and quirky conversation on all the social channels. You know the ones. We're at Terradrift on all of them. And then read up on even more gear comparisons and outdoorsy how-tos on terradrift.com. We think it's pretty great. Then shoulder that pack, hit the trail, and wander on.